the art, crafts, and entertainment segment or series. We still have a lot of other series coming up, but we are still in this section of the arts, craft, and entertainment. So all our guests during this series come from that particular domain. They are people who are creatives in these segments that we are looking at. And for each of these people, you will see that they've been able at one point or the other and still do extend themselves. They still reach out to a better version of themselves. And that's why we are learning from our guests, our various guests, to learn how we can, from their own story, also reinvent ourselves. Don't forget, we are live on Facebook at Olushola Ajide. We are live on Twitch. We are live at Africa Coaching and Mentorship. We are live on Periscope at Africa Coaching. And we are live even on Instagram, like you know, and also on YouTube at Africa Coaching and Mentorship Initiative. So this is the Mentors Show. Now, cast your mind back. Remember that some weeks ago when we started, I asked and I posed a question, and that still stands. It's still valid. Asking, what will you do if you are asked not to leave your house for the next 5 years? What will you do? Ask yourself that question genuinely, because answering that question would help you launch out into the deeper side of yourself, discovering new ways of yourself that you have not actually maximized. Last week, I started by mentioning 3 things. You're welcome, Official AY Couture. Last week, I started by mentioning 3 things. I mentioned 3 things of how to, reinvent yourself. I started by saying that you're welcome, AY Couture. I started by saying that you as a person the first thing you need to do is remember that whatsoever challenge you are going through, you are not the only person that is going through that particular challenge. You're not the only person that is going through that particular challenge. And that's you. Hey, you're welcome, Mr. Rotimi. Our guest is already in the house. Excellent. You're welcome. Yeah, live and direct. Excellent. So, it's the Mentors Show, and our guest, interestingly, is already in the house. Great. Hey, good evening. How are you doing today? Well, very fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know you are quite very, very busy.
Yeah, apologies. I had to quickly rush out of something.
I know. We all our previous guests, we know creative people, there's no downtime. There's always one thing going, and there's no downtime. The brain is, and that's part of the reason what we want to see. That's what we want to learn from. That is what this show is about. So, ladies and gentlemen, our guest is already in-house. We're going to be having a wonderful time tonight. It's the Mentors Show, where we inspire, people, where we help you reinvent yourself, if you like, and also help you to inspire you to make impact in your community, in your country, and on your continent. Yeah, somebody says good afternoon to the maestro himself. Yes, Mr. Rutimikis is the maestro himself. Yeah. And now for all our people, audience, tell us where you are working, what you are watching from. I know official AY Couture is all the way from America, New York City. So as you join us, tell us where you are watching from, and if you have a question for our guest, we'll add to what we already have for our guest. We'll be able to ask him those questions tonight. So so on this show, we try to reinvent ourselves. It's sparking creativity. Creativity is the key point here. Creativity. Now, even though we said creativity during crisis or beyond COVID, we need creativity actually anytime. We need creativity. It's important. And for those of our guests and like yourself who are very creative, highly creative, we know that there is a process in which the brain works, and that's part of what we want to pick up tonight. Now, for ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight is the award-winning Mr. Akifenwa Rotimi, an award-winning person, is, an executive producer. He's an executive producer. Sorry about that. He's an executive producer. He's a songwriter. He's a person of various parts, if you like, a person of various parts. Interestingly, I was just trying to prepare for this. I saw a let me try and show that for those who are watching on Facebook. They can only see this on Facebook. The picture of yourself in your studio and looking at the big screen. I said, "Wow, that's great." Right. So our guest today has worked with people the likes of Cobhams, has worked with people the likes of Flavor, Ice Prince, Olamide, Banky W, Dame Crane, Chidima. He has worked with Simi, Tosi Martins. He has worked with Emma, oh my God, Nikki Laoye, Midnight Crew, Peter. The list goes on and on and on and on. So it's nice having you. And also he has worked with corporate organizations, MTN, Konga, MTN Project Fame, Gouda, Ultimate Search, Team Music, Jumia. It's just, so tell us, who is Mr. Akifenwa Rotimi? Let's start from there.
Okay, well, I am the second of 5 children. Let me start with that.
Okay.
I was born into a Christian home.
Yeah.
My parents were not exactly musical.
Okay.
But they were not musical. My mom was in the choir for a bit.
Okay.
My dad, I'm not sure. My dad just loves good music. So as we started growing up, I think I was the first person that picked it up, even before my elder brother.
Okay.
We literally just realized that we were immersing ourselves into music so much. So from my childhood, I remember there was a day my father came in. My mom was singing, and then I was harmonizing. I didn't know what harmonies were. And then my father comes in and he was like, "Who is that singing that?" And my mom points at me and he just shrugs and then walks up. So it has always been there. Maybe not from our parents. Like, honestly, sometimes we make a joke and ask them if we are their children. Because, well, 3 of us, that's my elder brother. He's also a producer. He's a bass player. He's an artist, a gospel minister, actually.
Okay.
And then the third one, who is the last boy, so there are 3 boys.
Okay.
So he also plays drums and a bit of keys and all that. But actively, musically, it's just me and my elder brother.
Okay.
But still actively into. Okay. So yeah, all through primary, secondary, I picked up my first instrument, the drums, at age 9.
Age 9.
Yes. And then as at 11, I had started playing keyboards, drums, guitars. I tried to get on the trumpet, but I mean, my little mouth was too weak.
Interesting.
Started out early, basically, yeah.
Yeah. So you are pretty much saying that it's more as if now it's just been there, and you just find out that you just discovered it and begin to nurture that particular
Yeah.
things. So would you say talent is born or acquired?
I think it is born. I don't think it's acquired. If
Okay.
it's there, it's there. I mean, there are people who dance better than some people that haven't learned it.
Okay.
There are some people who are great writers. There are some people who just have a thing for drawing. There are
Okay.
people who just have a thing for. I've heard people who don't know what they are singing, but when it comes out of their mouth, you'll be like, "Where did you get this voice from?" I think God created it there. I don't think it's something you just wake up one day and say you want to know. No, I think it's created with you.
So do you believe that one can learn?
Yes, you can learn, but there will have to be a seed.
Okay.
There will have to be a seed that was planted there by God.
Okay.
So, for example, I have a friend. Well, I won't call him a friend. Someone I know.
Okay.
Back then, I think when I was in school in Ibadan, he learned how to play keyboards.
Okay.
And, sometimes based on the person who taught him, the person was really proficient. So when he plays what he has been taught, he plays really well. You'd be like, who is that guy? Or put him in front of the song and tell him to just back the song he can.
Okay.
He learned, but I don't think the seed is there. There's some things, I mean, I didn't go to music school. I didn't, so even for you, I think learning will have to be based on a seed.
Okay. All right.
Honestly, that's my short answer.
Okay. So it has to be, so now that's interesting. But now, having said that, so how would you as a person define creativity?
Okay, I think creativity is just that thing on the inside of you. Sometimes you don't know, you don't know the beginning of creativity. You don't know the source, God is the source. You don't know how it gets into you. But it's the ability to be able to build something out of nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, the fact that if you gave 5 different people a stick and tell them to do something with it, they will come up with 5 different things about it. Tell them to be creative with it, they will come up with 5 different things about it. So it's that spark, it's that fire that's on the inside of you that it's that fire, it's like an engine that ignites the wheels that turn in your brain that make you think, no, let me put red here, or let me put green here, or no, let me make it black and white, or you know what, let me strip everything bare, let me just make it minimalistic. I think creativity sometimes defies human explanation.
Okay, so creativity defies human explanation because since you think it's coming from now. So if creativity defies human explanation, for you as a person, take us through your mind. How does Rutimikis think?
Okay, I usually approach anything I'm doing creative wise.
Okay.
Looking at the end picture in mind.
Okay.
I don't stumble my way through.
Okay.
I always usually like to a piece of music, a score for a movie, writing something for a commercial or something. I hear it. I have to hear it in my head first. I have to hear it. Even if it's not 100% done, it has to be 8% done in my head. If I play the first note, that way I have something I am building towards. It's like building a house.
It's like a plan working towards, yeah.
Exactly. You have to have an architect or someone draw something. You have an idea. So you don't end up wanting to build a high rise and then you end up building a shopping mall or something. It has to be, you have to. So I build towards a goal that I already had in my mind.
Okay. Okay. Now the point is that goal that you hear, how is it based on previous experience of knowing how to harmonize, or previous experience of how sound, or is it that how would it come? Would it just drop on you to say, okay, oh, this is how it will look like, or this is how it will sound like?
I think experience is also a part of who we are.
Okay.
One of the core basics of who we are is the experiences we've gone through. So yes, experiences help. Experience makes me know, okay, I think this is the direction we should go.
Okay.
This is the road we should travel on. Yes, experience is a part of it, but I also think that each person has a musician. Every musician, whoever you are in music spectrum, producer, singer, guitar player, whoever it is you are, I think everybody has a sound canvas of some sort.
Okay.
You have something in your mind where you launch from.
Okay.
It's like a springboard.
Okay.
So I think everybody has that color. Mine is different from every other person's. So that's always your ground, your starting point. That's always your launch spot. So when you sit down and you think, how do I approach this music? For example, most of the time I approach as a producer.
Okay.
So I'm thinking every element that comes in to make that thing work is what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking, oh, because I play keyboard, let me start playing, with the keys. I have done songs that have no keyboards in them. Or I'm not thinking, oh, because I'm a drummer, let's start with the drums. No, it's not always like that. Usually, most of the time, it's always that end goal, as I said earlier, that end I have in mind that I start working towards. So based on that, everything is in here. So you think, what's the first note I'm going to play? It's going to have to be a talking drum, for example, or it's going to have to be a trumpet. So I start working from there towards that goal I had in mind. But as I said, everybody has like a sound palette. So it's a part of who they are. It's like your DNA. It's like your musical DNA. That's where you always start from.
Interesting. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have our guests in the house, and he's been answering some of our questions. Mr. Akifenwa Rotimi. Now, if you've not followed him yet, please just go straight after now to his Instagram page, locate and follow him, because he's a very creative person. We had during the intro various kind of people that he has worked with and that he has been able to help produce part of their music. Now, can you please, in the music, you mentioned the music spectrum, various kind of people. What's the difference between a sound mixer, what's the difference between a sound engineer and a producer?
Okay, so let me try and describe it this way. The producer is the person who oversees the project from the beginning.
Okay.
Everything has to be spearheaded by him in some way.
Okay.
A sound mixer is one of the steps in that process.
Okay.
A sound engineer is also one of the steps in that process. So a typical production process is there is the pre-production.
Okay.
There's the production itself, and there's what we call post-production. Pre-production is what I talked about that time. Things like sitting down to think, what am I going to do, or sitting down with the artist or the client. So what are you trying to achieve with what you do? The production process starts when you enter into the studio.
The studio, yeah.
And then post is usually things like mixing and mastering. That's after the whole recording has been done. You mix it, make it polished. So the sound engineer usually is the person who is there recording the sounds being captured. He's the one capturing it
Okay.
to the computer or to a tape machine. As that's old, but I mean, everybody uses computers.
Computers now, yeah.
The person sitting down, he's the one who's probably going to say, open that software, record people. He's capturing the sound.
Capturing the sound itself.
Yes, that's the sound engineer. The sound mixer, as you said, is usually the person who finalizes, who mixes and masters. Sound good ears and all that. Now, the producer can also be all those things.
Okay.
Okay, for example, I happen to be all those things.
All those things, yeah.
So, but there are different functions. So some people cannot mix and master. Some people cannot engineer. I have producer friends who cannot engineer. Who cannot do any sound recording by themselves. So they get an engineer to record.
To do that.
So they tell the person what to do. Okay, let's go to there, record this, that. So there are different parts of,
the process. Now, you mentioned earlier that you didn't go to any school. So how did you acquire all this?
Okay, so it's I won't say it's a funny story, but it's so from my childhood, right? My father used to play a lot of Christian music in the house. He used to have a lot of them, Ebenezer Obey,
yep.
But I think before we were born, he just packed those, those turntables.
Turntables, yeah.
Packed them and then threw
Vinyl.
them. Exactly, vinyl. So and then brought out, so he started doing a lot of gospel songs. So we used to listen to a lot of songs back then growing up, And then I used to just sit down. I don't know. I would just sit down and wonder, how is it that this music comes together? How are they able to fit people into a space where, because I can hear the different elements. I can hear someone playing with drums. I can hear, and then sometimes watch music videos. Those old music videos.
Yeah.
You see someone playing keyboard. You see someone. You see maybe like 3-4 singers on a mic, and there's a lead singer. So I used to wonder how
were they able to bring
people together? How were they captured into a single medium? Sort of. I used to wonder a lot. So after a while, my father had this 2-sided cassette deck, where you could record one side to the other, and then, so I used to sit down and then just wonder, how come I can't bring the instruments in our church back then? I used to think, maybe I should pack them and bring them home, or maybe I should carry them to church. And then, I was playing keyboards and playing drums, so I would just record drums into one side of the tape, and then while playing the side of the tape into the other, record and then play another instrument. I used to think like that because I wanted to bring all those elements
together.
Yeah, it was just a thought in my head. I didn't know there was anything called the studio. I wasn't aware of, So when I finally understood that there was something called studio, I literally just lost myself in it. So, back then in school, we had one of my friends had this keyboard. That was the days of when electronic music production started. Came into Nigeria. So you had this keyboard that could record 16 tracks. So you could record 16 different instruments on 16 different tracks and you would make a song out of it. I think it's safe to say that I spoiled that keyboard.
Just bore into it.
Literally, because he bought it for his fellowship then. They didn't use it much, but I will be in his room. Like, I literally left my own school, went to his own school. I was, studying accounting in Polytechnic Ibadan. He was my friend and he was in Ile-Ife.
Interesting.
And then there was a time we went on strike and all that, and I didn't go home. I literally just followed my friend to his school. And I was there for about 3 months, and all I would do from morning till night is sit down with that keyboard. And I would just go through and explore this and explore that. That was how I realized, so this thing is possible. All right, let's go. So that's how I started. And then there was a fellowship that I kind of produced the music, and then we went into a studio. That was my first experience with the studio in Ibadan. I stepped in and I was just soaking everything that they were doing. I wasn't asking any questions, but I was just watching how they transferred what I did on the keyboard into the system, and all that, the process back in. That was how I started. And then, obviously, the internet, and then YouTube started coming out, and then you could get materials online and all that and all that. So I literally just, it wasn't a straight journey, but I literally just lost myself in that world over time.
Yeah, thank you for that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we still have our guests on the show. Please give us the thumbs up. Let's have the love emojis. I know he's dropping various things. So please, if you are not following him, kindly go after this show or to Rotimi Keys on Instagram. He's also on Facebook and follow so I can get more. Now, so the point you're making there is that apart from where you started from, you mentioned the seed that we have. There's also a process, as it were.
Yes, there has to be a process.
Even though we might not recognize it as a process, we might not know that is what is happening or give it a name at that time, but in actual fact, you are honing the skills, you are getting it better, you are learning the process of how things are done. And this goes back to the point where we started about the issue of creativity, which we started with, of the point that somehow something is just an inquisitiveness to know why is this. And I could really much relate with what you were saying, because my dad also, when we were young, at a point had a what do they call it now? A really where they sell music. We also have all those vinyls, and we sell and we record and cassette for people to come and buy. So we have a store. What's the name of this man? This albino man that sings. Gashishi gashishi ilu alulu Jesu mukulu mukenke keni o majo titi o oromida yo Jesu. You don't know that song? Oh, Dijo. Now it's and that's for me also. That particular period is part in which you're just looking at. Wow, this trying to look at how the songs are made and trying to understand all those things. So the point you are saying for all our audience is that we are looking at sparking creativity. You can be creative, like I said last week, even before the show now, is that first and foremost, your belief system. There's a need for you to tweak your belief system. If you believe that you can be creative, you will be creative, even though it might not be there before. All you need to do is first believe. Then if you do believe, is then, like our guest is saying tonight, is to say, okay, how do I hone these skills? Try to be inquisitive. Try to know more. That inquisitiveness in any particular thing that you want to lend yourself to would spark up something, a drive that will push you, that will help you to extend yourself to depth which you cannot fathom. But the issue of your belief system is important. The issue of you being able to lend yourself to it, being inquisitive, is very, very important. All right, let me go to the next question. So, within your years of now, it means professionally now, it means you've been in music for close to 15, 20 years?
20 years.
20 years, okay, 20 years. Now, out of these 20 years, which of the project was the hardest for you that you've been part of?
Hardest? Let me see. Okay, so I will say it was a project that we did for MTN. Yes, I was producing, and a friend, a senior colleague of mine, Olumide, is a gospel minister.
Yeah.
So he was also working in advertising then.
Okay.
So he wrote the song, I produced.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be for a launch in a few days, and we had went to the studio. Cobhams was in the studio with us. He just came in to give support and all that, and we had finished the song, and I carried the hard drive. We recorded in Cobham studio, so I carried the hard drive and then went back to my studio to go to start to mix. And then as I put the hard drive on the table, I didn't place it well. So it fell on the floor. So imagine that everything you literally just recorded, you can't access it. It's for the data corrupted. So imagine that we had to recreate. It was a full song. It was a song that had guitars, that had, it had different elements. We had to recreate it. I honestly, till tomorrow, I don't know where. I'm sure that strength came from God. How I was able to not, I was able to not be dejected or depressed. How I was able to just literally I just called everybody. I said, we have to give out this. So they were like, for what? I said, we have to recreate exactly everything we just did. We have to. So sitting down in the studio, remembering everything you've done, what this person said here, what that person said there, brought in the two singers, everything, and we had to do that in a split of 48 hours.
Wow.
I didn't realize, Cobhams was noticing what, at the end of the process, he called me and said, I'm not sure I can do what you just did, though. You don't understand what you just did.
You're composed?
What you thought you were done with. And then you had to come back and start from ground zero and build it all the way up again. So I guess it was, the passion and the love for what I do that just, made me just put on a client's deadline.
Yeah.
Something that I made a prepayment for. You have to deliver whether you like it or not. So I will say that's, if not the hardest, definitely one of the hardest that I had to do, because I honestly, as I said, I still don't know where that strength came from, where I was able to do, because it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I would say that one.
That one, okay. Interesting. Now, I know that you are also into singing. At least you've sang with, I know you've produced, or maybe produced or work very well with Yemi Alade, and you did some, you do singing. Now, what's the part of your singing? Tell us more about that part of yourself.
Okay, so honestly, I don't consider myself a singer.
Okay.
So a lot of people say, yeah, just being a perfectionist about it, go and sing my friend. But I don't primarily consider myself a singer. I feel like I'm a singer out of necessity. When I have to do something, when I feel that, I think this time around I just have to go all in and do this. So for example, for Yemi's album, it was she wanted me to write something for her.
Okay.
She came to me and said, she wanted me to write something on her upcoming album that time. So it was a Yoruba song that I had to teach her, because yes, her name is Yemi Alade, but she's Igbo. She's part Yoruba, but she's Igbo.
Wow.
So she can't really speak Yoruba.
Speak Yoruba.
Exactly. So I produced the instrumental, and all that, called guitarist, percussionist, and all that. And then I sang into the song just as a, placeholder sort of. Until we get someone else to come and do that part.
So just holding the place until.
Exactly. But when she heard it, she was like, what are you changing? I don't get. What? I love it, So that was what made me, okay, you love it, okay, fine. So I finished singing, So there was something, okay, the 2015 gubernatorial candidate song in Lagos for
Ambode.
Ambode. I had done, it was supposed to be a demo, just for me to play for him, to send it to the team to play for him and all that. And they went to the meeting. I didn't go to the meeting. They went to the meeting and came back and said the man was dancing.
Wow.
And that the song is done. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm supposed to get someone to come and sing this. He said, no, the song is done. So at the end of the day, I didn't plan to be in the video. At the end of the day, because I sang it, I now had to show my face. So things like that. And then recently, I just released a single recently. It's titled "Life Is Beautiful," and that's a song that is very close to my heart. So I knew that at some point I will have to record my songs, because I have a lot of them written songs that I haven't released. I know that at some point in time, I was just, in quotes, waiting for the right time.
For the right time.
And this happened to be the right time for this particular song. So I had to get to the studio and finish it. So my team they've been telling me, Shebi, you've been telling me go back to singing, because I stopped singing for a long time. So they've been trying to say, go back to singing. So yes, I finally did that this year, and first one has come.
Has come out.
So,
Interesting. Now, for having produced this kind of eclectic group of various kind of artists. Now, what we, and more so, which you mentioned, Cobhams alluded to, the fact that there's this ability to work with various kind of people. How did that come about? The ability, because if you work with various kind of people, it means you have a persona that is able to flow along with different kind of people. How did that come about?
Well, you said something the other time about this process of time, going through the process. Sometimes you might not realize what you were doing, but you're actually going through a process. So over time, I realized that I used to listen to different genres of music, all types of music. I was brought up listening to Nigerian gospel music to start with, so, but at some point I started listening to international gospel music, and then after a while I started listening to jazz. So I realized I was falling in love with different genres of music. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and it's a Fuji song I want to hear. Sometimes I want to hear Beethoven classical from somewhere. So over time I realized, my love for different genres of music, and it almost feels like there's no song that can just pass me by. There will be something I will learn from there or want to listen to or like from there. I didn't realize that I was sharpening the different edges of myself. So when those opportunities started presenting themselves, apparently I was sort of prepared. Not even realizing that. So my first studio experience, my first advertising experience, all those things, I didn't know I was prepared until those things actually came, and I realized, I am prepared.
Interesting.
So over time, I was being tested on all those fronts without me realizing. So that, as you said, creativity, owning your skill takes time, and I think that that's one of the, in quotes, gospels I preach nowadays. I tell a lot of people who are coming behind and all that. Some of us who were fortunate enough to start early, we started running the race early, sort of. But no matter where you start from, some things take time.
Yeah.
You have to respect that thing called time. The Bible says there's a time for everything. A time to this, time to that. There is a time for everything. That thing called time. Time tests. Time heals. Time reveals. Time does a lot of things. There are some things. Time is an exposure of so many. So it's over time. Those things happen over time. You can't just, there's nothing called overnight success literally. Except it was a very long night.
It was a very long night.
It must have been a very long night. You call yourself an overnight success. So for me, I realized that even without me knowing, none of us knew we were going to have to settle for music until maybe much later in our growing up years. But it was just something I was throwing myself at everything that came to me, everything that came at me, and all that. And apparently, all those things I was doing, I was preparing myself.
Now, and when you're looking at, for you now being an accountant, and how did your mom handle it? In the space of saying, Ofelema Kori Oriota, I'm sorry, people that I'm speaking Yoruba, that is your music does not pay. How would you make how did that go about?
Okay, well, I will say that in the story of my life, I sense a lot of divine intervention.
Okay.
So divine leading and intervention, and I think that at this point, I think it's a good thing. I think it gives you mileage when you get to that place where you know God for yourself.
Okay.
So you have to get to that place where you don't just throw things to the wind. And my mom and my dad, there was a day we were talking, So I just asked them, I said, so how did you allow me to do music? Because I didn't remember a lot of them. Now, my parents weren't the typical parents who flogged me for doing music.
Okay.
But they stood against it when it started affecting my studies.
All right.
Because it did affect my studies. In my primary school, I was either always second, the first, and the third, and then back to second and the first. But then I got into secondary school, and they were like, okay, 12. What's happening? 12 from where? So, and as at that point in time, I was totally stoned out to music. So I would just read just to pass exams, and all that. I mean, I'm not telling any child of growing up that. Don't emulate me, but there was a time my mom now told me that there was a day I can't remember this. She was who was telling me. She said there was a day she accosted me that why am I being very difficult about this, and all that and all. They didn't shut me down, they didn't force me, but they were against it when my studies started going down. So she said that I looked her in the face and I told her that music is what I want to do with my life, so she should leave me alone. This is a woman that I dare not talk to anyhow. I mean, now, growing up in the house,
why would I give you something?
They will have given you the spanking of your life, or one slap will just come out of nowhere. She said I looked at her and that she was shocked. She said I'd never talked to her that way before. So based on that, she was like, "This boy knows what he's saying."
What he's saying?
So and then after a while, she said there was a day the Holy Spirit literally told her and said, "Don't get in the way of what I'm doing." Sort of, because after a while I noticed that they sort of backed off. All those calling me to talk to me about, they sort of just backed off. Apparently, I didn't know the Holy Spirit was working on my
parents.
So, exactly. So they just she told me after I got married.
Interesting.
Many years later, she said one day that the Holy Spirit just told her that just leave me. So that was when she just hands up to. I mean, I guess I'm a work of God. So
interesting.
I think that I mean, with the kind of desire I had for what I was doing, it was almost impossible to stop me. If you try to block one way, I would look for another way to do it. That was what happened growing up. But I mean, I'm grateful to God that I didn't have parents who will inflict injuries on me or lock me in my home or any of those things, and all that. They were concerned. Yes, we had a few heated arguments, but I mean that was it.
Interesting. Now, in the course of music, and having worked with, for me as a person, I'm a researcher. And my field is corporate social responsibility, community engagement issues. And now, what aspects for you have an organization, your own company? What part of corporate social responsibility? Now, because there are some projects I've been wanting to do for quite a long time, and we'll be looking for partners to help come alongside those empowerment projects. So, what for you as a person, what kind of projects, corporate social responsibility projects, do you get involved with?
Okay, so.
Or have you done?
Most of the things I have done have been on the corporate level. We've probably had to partner with, one of our clients to do something pro bono.
Okay.
An event coming up or something like that. There'll be quite a few of that. And then on a personal front, I have, I would say I have, God has helped us to sort of help where we see people struggling basically, sometimes
okay.
We had to out, studio equipment.
Okay, studio equipment, okay. Empowerment, okay.
A few people that we've done free production for.
Okay.
And I mean, what is free to them actually cost us.
Time, cost you time, and because you could use that time to make money
time and money actually sometimes because I mean I work with a team. So some of those people also I brought them in to help on those projects, but I mean I'm the one doing the CSR, not them.
Yeah. So
whether you like it or not,
so you have to pay, at least you have to take care of those people, because for them it's a job. They are doing the job.
It's a job.
Yeah.
You know, some of them, yes, over time, maybe you pay them 50% of what you would usually pay them in projects like that, but at least you will still have to pay something. So yeah, there have been a few here and there, you know, about that. And well, for us, we don't like blowing our trumpets. You know, we don't believe in sounding a horn before you when you are giving alms, even in court. So we usually like to do it under the radar as much as possible.
Interesting. This particular question, I would like to ask it, even though I know I've heard it somewhere. That you were part of the Olo Boboro music, correct?
Yes. Yes.
How did that come about?
It was. I think that was the very first Hallelujah challenge, and
no, did you produce it?
I wrote it.
You wrote this, okay?
Yeah, and then Pastor Wale Adinega also co-wrote it.
Okay.
And then Nathaniel also, you know, wrote some parts of it, but most of it was we had finished a session at night, sort of, and then we all went to sleep, and then I literally woke up with the song. Wow. I literally just woke up with that song, you know, and immediately I woke up with it, I went into the studio, you know, straight up, you know, put something together as a voice note, and then I called Nathaniel. I said, I think I have a song, you know, for the challenge, you know, I think this is the song for this season. And then he goes, someone just messaged me that we need a song for this season. I was
God
happy,
is ready.
you know, so it was like, send me the song. So I was like, you know, I mean, I said, just do a demo, just really do something, you know. So I just played the piano, sang the song, and sent it to him. And he goes, this is it. When are we recording? You know, so that's how it happened, you know. And then Pastor Wale came on board a few days later. And then in a few, we had to finish it in a few days.
Because of the time.
Time was of the essence, yes. So it wasn't like we planned to do it from the beginning. It was just something that, you know, just happened.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. So now, for you now as a person, apart from the people that you try to help, so is there any move of trying to spark creativity in young ones? You know, knowing fully well that.
Yes, I've been ruminating a few things in my mind.
Okay.
And, one of the things that I know that over time we'll have to do is to realize there's a lot of misconception, especially with young people who are just starting out and all that, especially, you know, with the whole facade of social media and this, you know, wanting to blow now,
yeah.
schemes and all that. A lot of people have started with the wrong foundation. You know, so over time, I know that at some point, I'm going to have to harness a few young minds, you know, bring them together and, you know, sort of, will I say mentor? Because for me, mentoring is heavy. When you want to mentor someone, that's heavy. That demands a lot from you, the mentor, not just the mentee. You know? So quite a few people in different parts of the world look up to me as a mentor. You know, so they follow from afar and all that. But I think that I want to now also actively pull, over time, you know, from time to time, pull a few people together and start, you know, letting them understand the journey,
the rudiments behind the scene.
Exactly. How to go from step 1 to 2 to 3, and not just trying to go to step 10.
From 1, from 0, or from 0 self, or from minus.
Exactly. You know, you just wake up one day and you see what to do. So what's going on? You know. So and I feel that, you know, that's also. I tell a lot of young people, you know, I'm like, why are you in music? If your primary reason for doing music is money, then you've got it wrong. Trust me, you will keep chasing the money and you probably will never chase it. You know, the same way they say if you keep chasing money, you probably will never get it. If you create value, if you create value, you know, if you create, you know, people will start looking for that value, and in that they exchange their money for that value.
Yeah.
You know, so I tell them, money should not be your number one. Yes, money is a part of life, success, all that, yes, but it shouldn't be your driving goals.
Mm.
At the beginning, it's just that hunger to be better than you were yesterday. That's what has to start. That's what has to be the first step for you.
Interesting. Now, I know our time is rounding, but coming to the end of the show. Almost 1 hour. I can't believe it's.
I can't even believe it.
It's about 8 minutes to 8 now, and I know Instagram will be telling me. Okay, music magnet, Dr. Joel, welcome, sir. So is your turn next? Is the one coming? Is the one coming next?
Oh, so, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, is so welcome, Dr. Joel. We thank you for stepping by. So now for how do you do for? I know you've done some projects of international projects. How do you organize some of those projects when you go with Yemi Alade or any other guest? Are you the one overseeing? Is it your company who is doing that, or she's the one? How do you bring that about?
Okay, so for there are different parts to me. There is the Rotimi Keys part.
Okay.
Right? And then there's the Song 23, which is my company.
Right? Yeah.
You know, so I express myself in different ways across different, platforms.
Yeah.
With Yemi, it was Rotimi Keys that had to become her music director.
Okay.
So I brought some of my band members in.
Okay, to help. Okay.
And all that, yeah, and because she's a very hardworking artist, so it was easy for her to, and also the fact that she literally just allowed me to be very creative with her. She told me, she gave me the vision and then allowed me
to do whatever you want to do.
I literally just took the challenge and then created the solution based on that.
On that.
I'm in charge of music, I'm in charge of setting up everywhere we go, all that, making sure the sound is right, making sure the sets are good, and all that. That's majorly. I'm the music director, so everything that has to do with sound, with what she says, how she sounds, all that, that's all me.
Interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe 1 hour is almost gone. We've been having a wonderful conversation with our guest, Mr. Akifenwa Rotimi, who is a producer extraordinaire, songwriter, singer, and a person of many parts. But the key point on this show is just to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is that you can also extend yourself. There's nothing you cannot achieve if you put your mind to it, if you change your belief system, and if you try to just know that there's a process and be ready to pay the price, like our guest has been able to explain and show us today. And I hope that with this, you've learned, ladies and gentlemen, from the experience of our guest, Rotimi Keys, Mr. Akifenwa Rotimi. And we see you in our next show when we have himself, Dr. Joel, coming on board. These are extra wonderful, talented people who are creatives. And for me, my belief system is that if you believe something, you can achieve it. It might be hard, like you told us. It's possible to go from minus to 10 if you are ready to pay the price. There's a price to pay and there's a process to pay. So thank you so much, Mr. Akifenwa. But before I go, you mentioned your senior brother. You said he also produces music. Is it Mr. Akifenwa also?
Yes.
He's Benga Akifenwa, your brother. Oh, interesting. And both of you are interested in the same space of doing that. So
he over time he has also been able to hone his skill
in
a particular area. When it comes to
strings, he's just.
Oh my goodness!
When it comes to string, because
that's also saying things about know your space and flourish there. There's a seed of greatness in everybody. Now,
there's a seed of greatness in everybody.
Greatness has different meanings to different people. Some people, their greatness is world stage. Some people, their greatness is just 3 people in one country somewhere who are just waiting for someone to save them. just know your space and flourish
in that.
I mean, I write orchestral music, and I bet that I do it really well. But a few times I've had to call him that, Ogasa, we need you here, please. You have to do this, So, and I'm grateful that a lot of people also now know him and respect him in that space, and that's because he found that. I don't even know how he found it. He just sent me something one day and said he did it, and I was like, wait, what? How? You did this?
You did what?
How? So over time, people started knowing him for especially that part. So a lot of people.
I got to know him. I got to know him through Frank Edwards. I got to know him through Frank Edwards.
Yes, I know Frank. I know he's done something.
Yeah.
So know your space and see, it will take time, but it is not impossible. It's not impossible. I think that wanting to jump the process is what stops a lot of people.
A lot of people, yeah.
They want to jump the process. They want to be great now.
They want to blow.
And exactly. And it doesn't work that way. You have to go through time. And if you diligently go through the time, you will be amazed at what lies on the inside. You will be amazed, as it's like peeling onions.
You'll be peeling
one layer,
another one is coming. Yeah.
That's it. It's that. Well, it's that simple. Let's put it that way. But it's not that simple.
It's not that simple, but
exactly.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. We know you are very active and busy, and I know that even if you are leaving us now, you have other things you are going to do. So we really appreciate. Interesting. Wow. All right. So I know for those of you on Facebook, Instagram as Time Was Out. So thank you so much for today. It's been a wonderful session. We believe that you'll see us again in our next event, which will be hopefully next week. Thank you very much. Do enjoy your weekend. Bye.